all muscle. Today we're working on a 2002 Mustang GT, standard 4.6 stock motor. Nothing's upgraded or any aftermarket equipment, just stock car. Really nice car. This particular car happens to be my sister's. And what we're doing today is we're going to be replacing the intake manifold. Nice set of bullet wheels. What I noticed on this particular intake manifold is, I'm not sure how well you're going to see that. If you see that area where it's kind of wet down in here by the coil pack, it's wet all the way across. So I know the intake manifold gaskets are seeping, and then possibly we might have damage to the bottom of the intake. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the intake off, re-gasket it, and put a new intake on it. Usually, from what I've seen, these intakes end up coming apart at the bottom and they don't hold the seal anymore. So we got a new Ford Racing intake manifold that just came in. It's the same as the factory intake. It's not anything upgraded, it's just the actual Ford part, but it comes from Ford Racing. But anyways, to do this job, what I'm going to end up doing at this point, first off, I'm going to end up taking off the intake elbow with the air filter complete. I'm going to end up taking the belt off. Okay, basically the belt is just a serpentine, and the tensioner setup is here. You use a 3/8 ratchet and you can loosen the belt tension, remove the belt, and then I'm going to be pulling the alternator. And before I do that, I'm going to be disconnecting the battery, so we don't want any power leads, hot power leads that are going to be shorting out on any ground. So basically after that, I'm going to go ahead and pull this tube off of the EGR. Okay, and then what I'll be doing also is removing the throttle cables and cruise control cables, and of course unplugging the injectors, the coil packs, removing the coil packs as well. Then I'll be taking off the quick disconnect lines here for the heater hoses. Those will be coming off, and then miscellaneous vacuum lines such as this one here, this upper one here, and then of course any TPS sensors, any other sensors that are connected to the intake manifold. Once I've got this upper part apart, I'll be able to pull the 10mm bolts off. There's one of them. I'm sorry, that's for the coil pack, but there's one of them. Where are we at here? There's one of them there, and they just basically follow the intake all the way around. So I'll have access to those once I get everything out of the way here. Pull the intake off, clean it up, make sure that the the mating surfaces are clean before I put any new gaskets or reinstall the intake manifold. We'll have to pull the upper radiator hose also. I'm gonna just basically lose a little bit of coolant here. I'm gonna take this, take it off, and then just put it back in the kink it and put it back out of the way just until I'm done with this job. But this is a pretty decent sized job. It's not too hard. I mean, anybody can get it done. I'm gonna make another video on the parts that I used, and also compare the gaskets to the new gaskets, compare the old intake to the new intake, and I will show you that as soon as I get this tore down. Unfortunately, I can't do this here in real time. It'd probably be a really long video that nobody would watch, and number two, I don't have a stand or anybody to film this for me. So anyways, we'll see you on the next video here. Alright, so I'm just going to show you what I've done so far. Number one, battery is disconnected here. Remove the belt and the alternator. The alternator is held on by these two bolts here. You don't have to remove them all the way, it just has a C and you can slide it right out. Then there's these two bolts here that hold on to this bracket, and that bracket gets held on to the alternator by these two bolts, and then also the lead to the alternator, the power feed, and the connector for the wiring harness. So that alternator is out. Also, I forgot to mention that the fuel line would have to be removed, and this is the fuel line here, and in order to remove it you would need one of these tools here. This is a quick disconnect tool for the quick disconnect lines. Alright, I've also removed the coil packs, and I've got them in order. So this is the passenger side from front to back, the driver's side from front to back. I like to keep them in order. And also, obviously unplugged all the coil packs because I had to remove them. So this is basically one of the connectors. They're very easy to remove. It has a little piece here where you depress it and pull, and it basically removes that. Also, the fuel injectors, this is the connector for the fuel injectors, and you just press it on both sides and that will set that one free. Pressure regulator. Also have removed the EGR tube, the canister lines, the full intake assembly. I've removed the heater hoses. These are pretty easy to remove. They're also a quick disconnect style. The trick on these is instead of trying to push on this part, which you'll never get it to go down far enough, what you do is you push the actual hose, you push it in towards the firewall, and then depress the two outer tabs that are visible from the outside here. I'm sorry, you'll see them, instead of going into this hole here, you can depress the tabs that are on the outside of the hose, which you'll see on the very far back here. I don't know how good you can see that, but I'd press it right here instead of on this actual clip part. So that's pretty simple. Now I'm getting ready to, actually I also removed the throttle and cruise control cable. Basically these two 10mm bolts here. Take those off, and then I just have it laying on that corner there. And other miscellaneous wiring harness. Now I'm getting ready, what I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to pull the 10mm bolts for the intake. Basically there's two of them here on this hose, basically this neck here, and also there's 10mm bolts that are right in that valley area there. So as soon as I pull those off, I'll have this intake manifold completely off the vehicle. So I'll show you that, and then once I pull that, then I'll show you what I've got on the parts list, and basically compare the two from new to old.